Hello, hello. Here we go. It's the Kopite podcast.
It's the Kopite podcast, and Jay and Mick are back with you to talk about Liverpool's pre-season. It's a weird pre-season because it was only 2 games. We've got a glorified friendly on Saturday, if you want to call it that, but there's a trophy up for grabs. But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about the 2 games that we've had in Austria. Mick, how have you felt about Liverpool's pre-season?
It's been a weird one, hasn't it? Like, 2 games, and then all that furore about are we going to be able to come back from Austria because the whole quarantine thing, and then we get special dispensation for being footy players, which is fair enough. But no, on the games, obviously the most recent one, I didn't catch most of it, but I believe you did. 2-2 against Big. Obviously, I was keeping up to date with the scores, and when I was at work still. 2-0 down, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then obviously Ryan Brewster turns up at half time, just bags 2. So made up with that.
Yeah, it was a strange one, to be fair, because, you know, the way I always look at pre-season is I look at pre-season the same as I do with every pre-season. As long as everyone comes through it okay and they're not injured, I'm absolutely fine with it. I don't get giddy or disappointed whether we draw against someone or lose against someone. Maybe when I was about 15, 16, I probably did, because I used to think, oh, we're not going to do well going into that season. But let's face it, we're in a weird time anyway. So our season finished not long ago. All right, yeah, after the coronavirus break, we didn't play to our best as we did, but who cares? We still got this trophy anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't really get too giddy about it, if I'm honest. As long as, like I said, as long as they come through it, all right, I'm not bothered. But you know, you can't really. We talk about the game against Salzburg. I think a lot of people had an off day. You know, Mane missed chances, Firmino missed chances, Salah missed chances. But again, at least we were creating chances. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was the important thing about it, is that Salzburg were a step up in the development of their new season. You know, they've got a cup game at the weekend, which they're really up for. Their fitness levels were clearly ahead of ours. And don't get me wrong, Mick, these lads have been training like 4 sessions within 24 hours, plus had a 90 minutes to play as well. So I'm not bothered if there was like rustiness or stuff like that, but we were creating chances. We were a bit rusty. Obviously, there was a mistake from Fabinho, which led to the opening goal. And, you know, there's questions over maybe Ali could have saved the second one. But you know what? It's not a big deal. And I think going into the second half, when we knew there was going to be plenty of changes, some had to change, but the lads did really, really well in that second half. I think Salzburg maybe dropped off a little bit, but again, they still caught us on the break a couple of times. There was a couple of chances where they could have gone 3-2 up after, obviously, Brewster had scored twice. But it was a big step up in terms of opponent. Like I said, there's a lot of people in that second half that hadn't played, or they hadn't played together. And, you know, there was certain elements of the game where you just thought, that's not how we play. And I can understand where people were getting frustrated, but they have to remember that it's a game of 2 halves at the end of the day, wasn't it? There was one team playing the first half, another team playing the second. But like you said before, mate, Ryan Brewster pops up with 2 goals late in the second half to make it 2-2. And that's the best way I can sum up that Stuttgart game. I mean, I thought James Milner was a big example. He was, you know, when there's no crowds in the stadiums, you can really hear him now. So you can hear how good he is as a captain on the pitch and a leader. And he was shouting and leading by example on that left-hand side. And again, just more puts the stamp on the reason why we should keep him anyway. I thought Nico Williams was okay, but I thought he got targeted from time to time. I thought there was a few issues there where he was targeted. And the worry thing for me is not from Nico Williams' ability, because he's a great talent, and I'm sure he'll grow into that role, and he's got some great role models around him. I'm just thinking, because Trent hasn't played in this so-called pre-season, quote unquote, is Nico Williams going to start against Arsenal on Saturday? And if so, he'll probably get targeted, because Stuttgart definitely targeted him in the first game. But again, that's not to negate his talent. He's just learning at the end of the day. But again, summing up the Salzburg game, it was just sloppy mistakes that cost us. It wasn't like we were outplayed or anything like that. But yeah, the positive about it, obviously, is Ryan Brewster bagging 2 goals. And I know everyone is praying that we don't send him back out on loan again. Again, I'm sort of 50-50 with it. I wouldn't, you know, I like the kid. I think he's had some really good experience at Swansea, but if he Jurgen Klopp wants to send him back out on loan for the year, then he's doing the right thing. But what do you think, mate? Do you think we should just keep him in the squad?
I'd love to see him stay in the squad. Obviously, he went out to Swansea and he's done really well, getting quite a lot of goals there. His goals to games ratio was really good, and then he's come back and from his interviews, I get the sense that he's resigned to going back out on loan. Like he's saying the right things, and he wants to stay and he wants to work hard for the team and that. But the sense I'm getting is that he might go back out on loan. And I think one of the Sky fellas, I think it was Graham Bailey, recently said, I think it was today, that Sheffield United are leading the race to sign him again on loan this season, which would be a great little place for him to go out and get a bit more experience. And I mean, he's still a baby in terms of, like, he's a striker. He needs game time, and we know he knows where the back of the net is because he showed that against Salzburg, and he showed that for Swansea. He's a great little poacher finisher. Is he what we need in terms of a number 9? He's not going to be a Bobby Firmino and dropping into the hole and linking up play and stuff like that. He's not going to do that. He can do that, and hopefully he can develop that part of his game, and he might be one of a perfect player for us in the future. But who knows? And in the short term, I think he will go out on loan again, and I hope we do keep him because, like I said, he's really highly rated and he could be really good. I mean, he's only is he 19, 20, something like that? He's got time on the side, and like you said, same as Neco Williams. Really, he's only 19 as well. Like you said, he was targeted during that game, and it was the same with Trent a couple of years ago. Like, it was the exact same. So they've just got to go through these trials and tribulations, if you like, and just getting themselves into men's footy. Like Brewster went out on loan to Swansea, and he's proven himself. Neco Williams hasn't had that luxury of going out and getting a bit of experience because we needed him here and now, which is a positive on his side, that Klopp rates him that highly, that he's willing to throw him straight in. I mean, I know he's got quality, but all those faults that he has at the moment, defensive-wise, Neco Williams will be ironed out in future, and obviously Klopp will work on that. But Brewster, hope he stays. If he goes out on loan, we can't really complain, and I think it's probably the most logical solution, especially if we keep Origi, and obviously Bobby doesn't really get injured that much. And it'll be good for his development, and hopefully, I do hope we do keep him in the future. And it's not like one of those where we keep loaning them out like a Grujic, where 3-4 years down the line he's then 22, 23, and we're like Harry Wilson as well. We were like, well, what do we do with him? Do we sell him? Do we loan him? What's going on? So hopefully, if he goes Sheffield United, has another good season, then maybe next season I think he'll be the not make or break, but pretty much the time where he needs to decide: does he want to make it at Liverpool, or does he want to go out to a mid-table Prem team where he could do definitely a job for a mid-table Prem team and bang goals in? But yeah, I'd love to see him in the long term stay at us and obviously have a great career.
Yeah, you've made some really amazing points there, mate. I think one of the key things there is, like you said, his development in a couple of years' time, and that's 3 goals he's bagged in pre-season now. And I say, pre-season, we've only played 2 games. It's 2020 is a mad one, but he bags a goal against Stuttgart, and again there was goals from Firmino, there was goals from Keita, and Ryan Brewster is scoring in these games that he should be scoring to give Klopp these headaches. And I think that's one of the reasons Dom Solanke was sold, wasn't he? Because I think Klopp sort of knew that Brewster was the next one. He was quicker in development, and he had something about him. And Brewster's been likened to Robbie Fowler in his finishing and stuff like that, which is a fantastic compliment at the end of the day if you're going to get labelled with somebody. But again, that comes with its own pressures and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm impressed with him so far in these 2 games. And listen, if he's on the bench for the next couple of games against Arsenal when the season starts, then I won't be sad to see him come on, because the couple of times he has played last season, he did okay. But yeah, I mean, looking at the Stuttgart game in general, mate, I think a lot of people were obviously wanted to see the Reds play again. Obviously, everyone wanted to see them playing that new night kit anyway, didn't they? But one of the things that I know that caught your eye was the signing of our new left back, to Tsimikas. And I remember you messaging me saying how good he was. So what did you make of him?
I thought he was great. Obviously, he didn't start. He came on in the second half, but he was definitely one of the standout performances. Because obviously all eyes were on him, really. Yeah, thought he was great. The speed was I was amazed. Like there was times where they were not away, but their right winger had a few yards on him, and he just made it up like that. And that's something that could be invaluable this season if Touchwood hopefully Robertson doesn't get an injury. But if he came in purely on that 45 minutes that I've seen of him, he looks really good. And I know you can't really judge him off that, but he looked great dribbling wise, passing solid, got a good cross on him. Like I said, he's very fast, speedy. For me, it was like I think I'd seen him play once or twice against Arsenal and once against Wolves, I think, and I was impressed with him in both of those games as well. So in terms of that, he could be another little steal, and I think he's probably happy to play. Not happy, but he knows his role. He's going to be second fiddle, and he's going to be coming in now and again for Robertson if he's suspended or injured or whatever. So now I was impressed with him, and I was also impressed with Kopite, the 17-year-old. Like I didn't even realise he came on because it was Van den Berg at the back, and then next minute I think it was after Brewster's goal he came on, but I think I might have missed them saying he came on. Because next minute I was thinking, who's this lad here pinging balls from the back like Van Dijk, and he was just like a little clip. I watched the little clips. Someone made a little compilation of his. It was on like 22 minutes, but pinging balls out, and he's like heading everything away, and he's just like, and like I said, it's hard. Same with Tsimikas. It's hard to judge just off the 45 minutes, 20 minutes, but it's these little good signs that you want to see, and you want to see youth coming to the fore in these games and showing what they're made of, and I think he definitely did that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I was impressed with him, to Tsimikas, when he played against Salzburg. He was the one, obviously, I was most looking forward to seeing, because obviously it's a new shiny toy to have a look at, isn't it? So, I'm just relaxed now. I'm just relaxed that we've got that backup left back, and let's not get too ahead of ourselves. He hasn't played in the Premier League. He's not playing up against some top opposition yet. No disrespect to anybody who we've played so far with him, but I think, like you've just said, mate, from the outset now, I think we can safely say that we might have a decent backup. He's no Alberto Moreno anyway, is he? So we won't be worried when he steps onto the pitch at the moment. So yeah, really good recruiting by Klopp on that one. He needed to address it, and he has addressed it. Obviously, when pre-season comes around, mate, there's always talk of so-called signings and all that sort of stuff. And again, it's been very quiet, hasn't it? There's been no real talk about Origi leaving. There's been no talk of Shaqiri leaving. There's obviously with Brewster it's not been confirmed whether he's going back out on loan. And you think by the time the Charity Shield comes around in normal seasons, all this stuff is sort of done and dusted, isn't it? I mean, we know the transfer window's open till October, so it's sort of like going back to the 90s where you can still sign players during a season. But obviously, last week was the Champions League final, and Bayern Munich had won it. And let's touch on that player. Oh, what's he called, Mick? What's he called? Who plays for Bayern Munich? Oh, number 6. Yeah, number 6. Oh,
Thiago, what's it?
That's the one, mate. Sorry, I'm rubbish with footballers. I'm rubbish. The thing is, I only play FIFA. That's how I discover these people. So I'm rubbish with footballers.
To get yourself off FIFA, lad, and get in the real world.
Don't adjust, yeah. I know, like every other Liverpool fan. I'll never ever live that down, will I? I will. Don't care. Bothered. Listen, as soon as Thiago signs, mate, I'm going straight to the club shop and getting his name on the back of my shirt.
Too right.
View him all the time. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we all expected Thiago Monday, and then Thiago Tuesday, and Thiago Wednesday, and we're still none the wiser, are we? So, thoughts? Do you reckon it's a done deal or not? And does Gini leave because of it?
I think it's just testament to the club, really, that they are better at holding the cards close to the chest now. Like the one that sticks in my mind is the Fabinho, where it just came out of the blue.
Yeah.
I think if it happens, I mean, it's probably like the Timo Werner. That was like the worst kept secret in the world, and we all thought it was going to happen. It didn't happen. Like Thiago, like I've seen a lot of him, and he is quality. Like both footed, can play in a 2 or a 1 in front of the back 4, and he just glides across the pitch, and he is class. And but I think everyone forgets how good Gini Wijnaldum is, and like if we lost Wijnaldum, I don't think people would realise what they've lost until he's actually gone. Like the work that he does for the team, like, isn't, like I've said it before, it's not a flashy role, and he fits. He's a function functional player in a Klopp system, and he does it to perfection. And I think that slips under the radar a lot, I think. And like you said, everyone wants to shine a new toy, like Tsimikas has come in. If Thiago came in, I think we'd all be made up, because it's another top quality player coming in and bolstering up that ranks. And I think people are worried about injuries as well in that midfield, with obviously Oxlade-Chamberlain, previous injuries, and now he's got another one. We don't know when he's going to be back. Obviously, I think he's going to miss the Arsenal game. I don't know if he's going to be fit in time for the start of the season. Yeah, Naby Keita, he's got an injury checkered past as well, and he's hopefully, touch wood, going to be fit, because he's been quality during the last couple of weeks of the last season, and during this little mini pre-season as well. So it's just getting that fine balance between those players, and like I said, they're keeping the cards close to the chest in terms of the Gruiches and Wilsons and Origi, Shaqiris and all that, and we all haven't got a clue if they're staying or going at this moment in time, which I guess is a good thing, because there's no leaks to the club and no one's getting little sneaky info that they're passing on to someone on Twitter, and someone on Twitter's posting them, whatever. But no, if we sign them, great. If we don't, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say, really. Like, if he signs, I'll be made up. If he doesn't, I'll be like, well, Klopp didn't want him anyway, or he doesn't feel like he'll fit in the system, or he's, I don't know. But I'll be made up if we got him. But it's just one of them, isn't it? It's fucking, if you don't trust in Jurgen Klopp now, then you fucking never will.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. So I saw one quote this afternoon on social media where someone said after the Salzburg game that it looks like all the big players have given up now, so the squad needs a complete refresh. I'm like, are you taking the piss? We just won the league. I just all the big names have given up. I'm like, you honestly, mate, just try support us 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous. But like you just said there, Mick, I think it's such a weird year, isn't it, for transfers because of COVID-19. And I think, without COVID, Timo Werner would be putting a Liverpool shirt at the minute. And there's so many factors that people need to remember about. They need to remember about the new the new training ground that's being built. We've already put money aside for Anfield Road. It's been delayed a year. There's TV money that's up and down. There's stuff that we don't know about. But obviously, on the flip side, we can see fans' opinions where we've just won all these fantastic trophies and we've got all this prize money. Surely there's a little bit of money there to rebuild the squad, because you don't just stay still. Not when you're looking at the business that the likes of Chelsea are doing, and I'm sure Man City will sign somebody before October. It is, as much as I trust in everybody at the club and we've done well, there's a little bit at the back of my mind going, you don't want to stay still, do you?
Of course, and we didn't really. Did we sign anyone last year? Adrian? Did we sign? We didn't really.
Vandenberg, Elliott.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that completely, because I think everyone's got that little niggling doubt. Like, if we don't, we didn't sign Werner, is he going to go on to do great things at Chelsea? And we're going to be watching him thinking, oh, fucking hell, he could have been doing that in a Liverpool shirt. And of course, we all wanted Timo Werner. We all seen how good he's been. Bundesliga, we all realise that he's going to be a good player, and I imagine it's going to be the same for Thiago if he doesn't end up signing. But it's just one of them. There's all these, like you just touched on, external factors, that we're not just a club who's got billions and billions of oil money just in the tank ready to get firing out on players. Which, to be fair, Chelsea, it is a bit scary when you look what they just signed Ben Chilwell today. They're going to sign Thiago, I imagine. I think he's on the medical.
What? They're signing Thiago? What?
The 35-year-old one.
Thiago Silva. Oh.
Yeah, I think he's doing a medical tomorrow, apparently, according to Sky. They've already got Ziyech, obviously Werner as well. So it's like you said, everyone wants this new shiny toy, and people see a lack of signings as a lack of progress. Where it
wasn't the case last year, was it?
Yeah, you can have that point of view, but you've got to realise we've got really, and I hate this top red shit where you go, oh, we've got some good youngsters, and if you say that, yeah, call it top red. It's like, but Harvey Elliott, Neco Williams, and Curtis Jones, that is top quality youngsters that they can come into the squad, and if you threw any of them into the Premier League game, you'd be like, yeah, sound. You wouldn't. It's not like a. It's obviously a slight downgrade on the likes of Trent and Salah or wherever Jones came into the squad in midfield for a Wijnaldum or a Henderson or something, it's obviously a downgrade, but it's not like a downgrade in terms of what we've had in the past where we've had to rely on other youngsters coming in, and we've all been like, oh, fuck no, something's going to go wrong. You'd expect them to do something creative, and Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, they pick up the ball, they go into space, they want the ball, they want to do stuff. That Klopp gives them confidence to do that, and that's the best thing. That's the best thing he can do for a youngster. Like, not just focus on the positives and not obviously focus on negatives. And it's a bit different for Neco Williams, obviously, because he's a right back, and I suppose in a Klopp system the emphasis is on attack, but he's got a lot of defensive stuff to work on, like we just touched on before. But he's going to be quality. He's only 19. Harvey Elliott's 17. Curtis Jones is 19. Or 18, actually. I think he's 18. Which is crazy. Like, you forget how young they are, and what exciting times. Like, they're at for me, the best team in the world, under the best manager in the world. And they're only going to get better in and around the best Liverpool squad I've ever seen in my lifetime. So, what else can you say on that?
Absolutely not. And we're not going to say anything else anymore, Michael, because that is the pre-season review done and very well summed up there. And obviously, we'll be doing a preview show for the Charity Shield or Community Shield if you're post 2000. We'll be doing a preview to that on Friday for the usual curtain raiser, so do look out for that. Hopefully by the time Friday comes around, we might assign that. What's he called again, Mick? What's his name?
Oh, fucking hell, I forgot it again.
Tiguan. No, that's a car, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Tiago. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Tiguan. Yeah. Hopefully, by the time Friday comes along, we might have had a bit more of. We know that if Tiago is going to arrive or not. So stay tuned for that on Friday. The usual curtain raiser. I've been Jay Pearson. That has been Mick Moran. That has been your pre-season review. If you want to call it that for 2 games, I don't know. We'll see. But we will see you for the curtain raiser.